process, correct?
So once the person's been nominated, each person will need to pass after that. So once Oak Road's been nominated, if somebody else wants to nominate Oak Road, they'll do a pass.
They'll do a pass,
Because
okay.
she's already been nominated.
Gotcha.
Okay.
I'll pass, please. Thank you.
We do still need, because we started over, so we just have one, so we need to go through until we have our other nomination.
And if everyone that you get to is nominating Ms. Ogrod, then they just pass?
Yes.
Okay. So we're going to continue through and allow everyone to place their nomination into the record. If your intention is to nominate Ms. Ogrod, then you can just pass, and then we'll take a motion to accept that nominee by acclamation and move forward.
Okay. Next, we have Ms. Oak Road,
Mr. Goodpaster.
Ms. Smelser,
Pass.
Ms. Stafford,
Pass.
and Mr. Wood.
I make a motion to accept the two nominations.
Second. I'll second it.
Okay, so now we go through and everybody's going to state who they want.
Okay, so we've had a motion and a second. Okay, so all in favor of accepting the nominees?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, so we have our two nominees. We'll now go through and take our vote.
Mr. Covington,
Catherine, I'm sorry. Are all of our nominees willing to serve as vice chair?
Yes.
Mr. Goodpaster, would you be willing to serve?
Mr. Covington, you voted Oak Road. And next, Mr. Goodpaster,
Catherine.
Ms. Oak Road,
Mr. Goodpaster.
Ms. Smelser,
Catherine.
Ms. Stafford, Mr. Wood.
You need five.
For Goodpaster.
Okay, so we have 5 votes for Ms. Ogrod and 1 for Mr. Goodpaster. So Ms. Ogrod is our new vice chair. Thank you so much for your willingness to serve. Thank you so much, Mr. Goodpaster, for your willingness to serve. And I appreciate the confidence that the committee has shown me as well. And I'm actually kind of stretching it out a little bit. I would really like for you to all meet Crystal. She's a marvelous, marvelous person, and I'm anxious for you to meet Mr. Hilliard as well. And so, tell you what, we'll move forward with our discussion about the Cat Stevens complaint. And I think that in the length of time it takes us to conclude our discussion there and resolve that issue, that Crystal may be here and she could come in and tell us about herself at the end. So our next issue is the Cat Stevens complaint. And the law director has put this in perfect perspective in terms of Mr. Cat-Stevens had an opportunity to bring forward additional information, and he has chosen not to bring forward additional information. And so I would recommend that we contemplate it, have any discussion that we need to have. But I think what is appropriate at this point, given that we've done every bit of due diligence that we could do, and probably more than may have been called for, that we go ahead and entertain a motion to dismiss this complaint, just based on the fact that there's just simply not enough for the Ethics Committee to move forward. But I would like for the committee to be able to weigh in on that and add any perspective that they might have before we move forward with a vote to dismiss.
I would agree with that motion. I think that based on what we've heard so far, there just isn't enough evidence to move forward with a complaint.
Anyone else?
Michael, I'd like to say something. In looking at all the facts, I also agree that there is not any proof that there was any payback for any way that Kyle voted. But I would like to say this has really shown the true colors of some people, and I've heard inklings that Mr. Cat-Stevens has faced some kind of retribution for stepping up and stepping out, and I think it's important for every citizen in Knox County to understand that every citizen has a right to bring forth a complaint if they truly feel that there has been an ethical violation. And I just want to say thank you to each of you that we were open and willing to listen to it, because we need more transparency in government. Ms.
Stafford, I have a quick question. And when you said that there was maybe some, I don't want to say threat, but the concern for some type of retribution, I heard that from somewhere, and I know that we don't deal with hearsay, but I just totally dismissed that as something that was not plausible. But you heard that, and I'm just curious, and I don't think that it needs to be an issue, but I'm curious as to how something like that would even happen.
I don't really feel it's appropriate to go into the great details because it's hearsay. I encouraged the person to come forward that gave me the information. And without their willingness to come forward, I don't want to start accusations and innuendos that aren't true. But I just think it needs to be open eyes for everyone that if a Knox County citizen comes forward with a complaint, they're safe to do so, they're protected to do so, and we're going to respect everyone involved.
Thanks so much for that, and that's perfect perspective. The law director has, in a very timely way, put before me the whistleblower protection section of our code, and it is Section 6, and it's whistleblower protection, and I'd like to read that into the record. Section A, elected officials, employees, and appointees are encouraged to report ethical violations via sworn complaint to the Ethics Committee pursuant to the rules of procedure. B, no elected or no official, employee, or appointee shall use or threaten to use any official authority or influence to discourage, restrain, or interfere with any person for the purpose of preventing such persons from acting in good faith to report or otherwise bring to the attention of the Ethics Committee facts relating to an ethics violation. C, no official, employee, or appointee shall use or threaten to use any official authority or influence to effect any action to retaliate against an official, employee, or appointee who reports, initiates a complaint, or otherwise brings to the attention of the Ethics Committee information relating to an ethics investigation or an ethics violation. D, violations of this section may subject the offending person or persons to any and or all of the penalties outlined in Section 7 of this policy. And that's very important, and I really appreciate Mr. Booth, the law director, for putting that before me. And I'll just have to contemplate that, and I think we can all just contemplate that likelihood if that were to ever come up in the future. But thank you so much for that. Any other observations that anyone would like to make? If not, the chair will entertain a motion to dismiss the Michael Cat Stevens complaint as an ongoing investigation of the Ethics Committee.
I'd like to make that motion, please, sir.
Okay. We have a motion to dismiss the Michael Cat Stevens complaint. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Wood. So we have a motion and a second to dismiss the Michael Cat Stevens complaint. Is there a question, or is there any other discussion about that matter prior to our vote? Not seeing any need for any additional discussion. All in favor of dismissing the Michael Cat Stevens complaint, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Unanimously, the Knox County Ethics Committee has dismissed the Michael Cat Stevens complaint, and that matter is officially closed. Thank you all for your contributions in that regard. Is there any additional information? I've done my best to stretch this for Crystal to get here. I hope she's okay. And so at our next meeting, Mr. Hilliard and Crystal will hopefully be here, and we can meet them and greet them officially at that time. Our next meeting is Wednesday, February 14th, 2024, in the main assembly room at 8:30 a.m. And if there is no additional business to come before the Knox County Ethics Committee, we are officially adjourned. Thank you all.
Anybody else need a parking pass?
Thank you both for helping me do that.
No, I seen it in chat.